All right.
Now it's live.
Awesome. 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 Well, everybody, go ahead and like and add the subject matter to your timelines, please, if you don't mind. Good evening, everybody. What's good? What's good in the hood? Awesome. Awesome. Everybody good?
Everybody good?
Yep.
That's what's up. All right.
It's public, right?
Yes, sir. It's public. I'm
Mm.
missing Bruce. I'm missing Sugar and who am I missing? Where's Nicole? I'm missing Nicole. Okay, she
I'm
coming back in a
coming back.
second.
I'm here. I have to go to Facebook.
Okay, okay. Okay, y'all. I'm pulling up the narrative real quick and we're gonna pray and get it started. All right, everybody. So we're gonna say a quick word of prayer like we usually do. Good evening, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're gonna get a word of prayer real quick and we're gonna get started. Oh boy. Oh, now I hear my phone acting crazy. Okay. Father, we thank you so much for this opportunity to connect with yet your awesome people again. Father, we ask you to give us information internally that ignites and accelerates and informs and helps people to be able to cope with the situations that they find themselves in, be it willingly or non-willingly, and help us to be of great value to people's lives. Yet once again, in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Man.
Man.
All right, now let's get it started. Let's get it started. So this topic, so I got an honorable mention today. One of my great friends of God, oh, it's got to be at least 20 years, is
At least.
on the show with us tonight. And we've been trying to get her on for a long time, but she has a bananas schedule. So we finally got her on, and she inspired tonight's show, The Era of the Hobosexual. Mm, mm, mm. This is really interesting. And I started researching it after she told me about it, and I was not the wiser to this. I had never even heard the term prior to her saying this. I had heard the behavior, but I did not know it was a name attached to it, and it had all this stuff going on. It was crazy. I pulled up homosexual, and it was like pages and pages and pages of stuff. I was like, what in the heck? So this is really something that's really, really a serious problem, if you will. It's not a good thing. It's not a good behavior at all. It's really negative. It's not good. But I'm going to read the narrative real quick. The term homosexual is one that is relatively new. It started off actually in 2014, and an interesting way to describe a freeloader. This person comes with the intent of taking only and never giving. They are looking for a place to lay their heads, not their hearts. But yet they manifest as ones who really want a relationship, speaking the language of love while working on getting your guard down long enough to get in your good graces. While others in your life may see this person's intent, you are blinded by the aroma of innocence these type of people portray. Yet have you ever wondered why some of us attract this type of person into our space? Is the word gullible imprinted in our foreheads? Do we have a sign which says, use me at will? Let's talk about it. The era of the hobosexual. Why do I attract leeches like you? Mm.
Mm.
So, Robin, tell me, tell me, what made you even suggest doing this show? What was in your brain when you thought about this show?
Well, I had a conversation with a few diva friends of mine, and one was discussing a relationship or one that was a potential relationship. And she called the name. She said, I'm not into homosexuals. And I said, a homo what? And because I mean, I don't, I had never even heard the term myself. So she said, no, 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 hobo, Hobo sexual. And I said, well, what is that? So, of course, we had this dialogue about it. um, And, we got into who actually loves or enjoys the homosexual for uh, between, men and women on both sides of the track. So it was a it was enlightening to say the least. And we all know somebody like that. That term just has, popped up like Precious and I were talking about, I didn't know it's been out there since 2014. For me, it's something new. Being married for a long period of time, that I was just struck by the term. So I thought to call you and or at least contact you and say, hey, let's talk about this. Let's see what this means to a lot of people, and what the experiences are based on
Absolutely.
homosexual.
Absolutely. That's intriguing. Mr.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.
Mr. Dixon, welcome to the chat this evening, sir. Thank you so much for showing up, even though you were fashionably late
Oh, God.
for the prior deacon meeting that we had scheduled. As being the main deacon, I need you to be on time for the deacons meeting before the show.
Sure. Sure.
Oh, Lord. No, but on a serious note, Mr. Dixon, share with us. This is what I don't understand. How do we even attract this type of person into our space? What is it about a person that attracts this type of individual into their space? I don't understand.
All right. Now, you got to get ready for this kind of truth, okay?
Go ahead, Mr. Dixon.
All
Break
right.
it down. Break it down. Go for it.
Truth is, the hobosexual, as you put it, they are providing something too. You look at them as taking, but they're providing something with you that you're lacking. And what they're providing is, in some cases, people want you want to be with someone that you have superiority clearly over. You want to be with someone that you can manipulate, control. You want to be with someone that that kind of, some people feel like, look, I know you're taking advantage of me, but I like to feel entitled, and I like to feel like I know I'm supposed to feel. I can't get it from the guy that's on my level or above, but I can get it from the guy sitting on the couch playing PlayStation. So I take on that trade-off, like Bruce say, that exchange. It's like I exchange you using me for me feeling a certain way for a period of time, because it doesn't last for forever. It lasts for a season until you get tired of feeling like I'm actually paying for his or her love. And after a while, because it's not authentic, you know that you're putting all the strings, you're doing all the painting with swiping with the brush, you're doing everything yourself, and the person is really just doing everything you're allowing them to. They're not breaking. In most cases, they're not twisting your arm. They're doing what you let them do. You like smooth talk, so they give it to you. Oh, but girl, he's trying. I'm helping him with his resume, so he's cooking for me. He does cook for the kids. And you got that story. Then you got the other thing. But girl, he just be laying it down. So if your trade-off is
That's it. You're right.
a lot of times the reason he lay it down because he ain't got nothing but time to think about laying it down. So when you get home, all his job is just to lay you down and have a free ride the rest of the time. So that's easy for him to do. You understand what I'm saying? So
did you say that he all his time is devoted to thinking about laying you down, huh?
Man, listen, I think this all the time.
That's what he does.
We practice what we wish to perfect. So if a person is a user, they are practicing being a professional user. So whatever comes with it, be it finessing you, be it sex, be it treating you like giving you saying all the things that you just want to hear, it's just not necessarily coming from the person you want to hear it from. But you're hearing it because it's just he's there. He looks fine, or he or she looks fine, so they'll do. And so you deal with it. It's a trade-off. It's not, I think we're positioning in it like the person is just a user, but you're using them too.
Come on, bro.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well,
Okay. Next opinion, please, Nicole.
Well, it's definitely a thing going on because a lot of people talk about it.
Yeah.
I feel that when a woman is, desperate for a man, or a man is desperate for a woman, they tend to attract these type of people because they're desperate for the companion, the being around somebody. So here comes this guy. He has all the time in the world to be with you, to give you what you want, to show you affection, even if it's fake or whatever. It could be real. You never know. Do all these things for you. It's little things, but it's things that you don't, necessarily get because you're desperate. So you never really was treated right.
Right.
So, and that's how they, slide in and they come over. Next thing you know, they bring their bag, they bring their clothes or whatever. And next thing you know, you just living with somebody. You ain't asked them or nothing. They just there. I've seen it. I've seen it. Like, oh, you just live here now? You know what I'm saying? But it happens. But they're giving the woman what she needs, or the
man
what he needs.
Right.
They're providing something that they want. They usually, if it's the guy, because I know a guy and a girl like that. So the guy, he's so I don't even know what word to call it, but he's like jumps at whatever she needs done. He does it. I mean, it's not monetarily, but it's whatever she needs done.
He's the accommodator.
So he's accommodating her. He's, like, yeah, whatever. Well, I got you. He cooks and cleans. He keeps, everything.
Right.
He's like the woman of the house.
Right.
In a sense. And on the flip side is the same thing. The girl, she's home, she cooking, she cleaning, she doing everything. She's ready to have sex when he get home. It's the same thing going on, but it's an exchange of something that both of them need. Yeah. But I think it'll start something. You have to be desperate.
The way that you and Charles are describing it, it sounds more like an even exchange. But in the research that I did, the exchange is nowhere near even. It's not an even exchange it's not an even exchange. It's a very disharmonized correlation.
I'm gonna tell you why.
There's no balance to it at all.
It's like,
I even see that because over time you gonna want them to step up to do something, but they're not gonna do it, and then that's when that's when it changes. That's when the dynamic changes. But when everything was all smooth, it was going
no problem.
No problem. You're like, hey, you gonna start paying some rent, and then that's when the dynamic changes. You know what I'm saying?
Can I say something too? We're gonna say something else about the ladies part of it, and then I hope that the men can express something about them allowing women to come in and live off of them for sex, because this is like homosexual type thing.
Right.
But in some experiences with some situations that I know about, there's a term that I use called there are some women that are dog whisperers, and I say that I don't mean to call men dogs, but there is a need to take in the strays off the street. And here's an example. When I was young, I'm an animal lover. So I hated to see, dogs on the side of the road or seem like they were lonely. I was 10, 11 years old. You hear a cat in the backyard meowing because he's hungry, and I take out this milk and, and feed this animal, and I would always bring these strays home. Well, at first, my mom thought, okay, she has compassion and empathy. But when it got to a point where every time you turn around, I'm bringing home a new dog or a new cat, then it became, because I'm only 10 or 11 years old. I don't have a job. I can't buy cat food, dog food, take them to the vet, be responsible. So now the burden is on my mom to take care of these 6 or 7 dogs and cats that's running around the house now that I'm out in the street playing. So the responsibility is hers, and it becomes a burden on the whole household because, as a single mother, she's got 3 kids. And so it's already a tough situation. Now I'm trying to feed some dogs and cats that are, now situated around this house. and it's a burden for the whole household. So the dog whisperer aspect is that some of us decide that we're gonna take in this stray, we're gonna do a flea dip, okay? We're gonna
Mhm.
clean them up, we're gonna cut them down and have them looking nice and good. And then because of that, in turn, he's gonna turn around and become this man that we want,
Never.
that we've been waiting on, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll take those and we're gonna fix them up. So that's the motive. Sometimes the dog
Mm-hmm.
whisperer syndrome is to take them in, clean them up, show him that he can look good, and the possibilities, the potential. And it doesn't work because what I understand for a man is, okay, so men want us to be feminine, you know,
Mhm.
but when you put a woman in the leadership role, in that position where she's going out, where she's making the money, she's coming home, yeah, you cooking some bacon and eggs or whatever, but that's not really contributing because she can do that too, you know.
Right,
So
right.
now you're placing her in a masculine role,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
Yep.
Because she's now the leader of this household, guess what happens? Resentment, not only from her, but from him, because now
Mhm.
he's answering to her,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
Because
Right.
she's leading the household. So it doesn't work. The dog whisperer situation syndrome, it still doesn't work. There's going to be resentment. There's going to be chaos because it's not order. There's
Mhm.
nowhere in that is order.
Yep.
Yeah.
No water. You're
Well,
right.
Jason, talk to us about
go
this.
ahead.
Go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
Charles. Go ahead, Charles. You was
But
gonna say something. Go ahead,
no, I
Charles.
was going to say who put her in that position. When she
Right.
let him in the house, she put herself in that position.
She did,
She didn't
but
have
Yep.
to.
That's
She
it's
could have
our
been her
fault.
own. She could have been her own boss in her own house, doing her own stuff, answering to herself. But
and
when he
Yep.
brings the dog,
by nature, it's not going to work. You know what I'm
yeah, it's
saying?
not.
So she did. Because of what her needs are, her desire to have a strong man. We think
Yep.
we can make him strong
but but
by
but you know
showing him what we think,
it's
he
strong.
should be doing.
And here's the thing about that I always thought was crazy. I
Yeah.
refer to that as the build a bear syndrome.
Right.
And what we forget about this is what we forget. You can bring in a bear, shave his head, all those things. He still is ferocious and can kill you. He's still a bear. So when
Right.
you
Exactly.
bring him up, when he stands up on his feet, he is fearsome, and he gonna be like, okay, I'm on my feet now. Thanks. So get out my way. I'm going back out
Yes.
here and do what I do as a bear. So that's what
Yep.
we forget about that part about
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
That's true. That's true. Jason, go ahead, talk to us, and then Bruce, hit him up, Bruce. After that, Jason, go ahead and talk to us.
This is an interesting subject. The
it. Yes, sir.
hobosexual. From what everyone is saying, I agree. For most of it. Now, the last young lady, there were some things that I kind of questioned because I do believe that a strong woman with the right man that may not be living up to his greatest potential could live up to his greatest potential with the right woman.
Mm,
um, and not saying that the hobosexual is the right man, because the hobosexual, his intent, from what I understand, is basically to get something from you, and
mm,
whatever that is, once he gets that, he's just like any other
right.
hobosexual, I guess. Once he gets that, he's on to the next one.
Mm,
Whatever it is, whatever his goal is, once he's there, he's done. Or whatever her goal is, once she's there, she's done.
mm,
Um, so ultimately, it's a game to me. And I know for most women, um, you have that need to be the nurturer, the provider, the I mean not the provider, but the nurturer, the mother. Um, so a lot of times they'll come to you with a struggle,
mm,
and you say,
Mhm.
"Oh, well, let me help you. Oh, well, let
Mhm.
me
Mhm.
help you." And then now he's in. Now you can't figure out how to get him out.
Right.
And a
Mhm.
lot of times, women
That is true.
women are not visual, right? You're not visual. Words
mm,
affect you.
mm,
You're more on the emotional side. So for a guy, all you have to do is say the right thing, and you're in.
mm,
For men, all she has to do is produce the right thing visually, and she's in.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see
That's
what I'm
it.
saying?
That's it.
So a lot of times, for the women, you need to stop listening and look at what he's doing, because a lot of times we stop looking at what people do. As a woman, you stop looking at what a man does and listen to what he says. But if you combine the two, you'll see the truth. And a lot of times for us guys, if we stop looking at what she's doing and actually listen to what she's saying, we'll see the other side. Because a lot of times we shut off that other side because you're giving us what we think we want, which is the
Mm-hmm.
visual for
Yeah.
men and the words for women.
That's it.
That's
And
it.
even greater
And
than that, not even necessarily the action and the words, but the habits, the actual
right,
patterns. The
right.
patterns will tell you the truth more stronger than an action or a word, because people revert back to their behavior that they're comfortable with. So that's going to be the magic clue to find out who you're really dealing with, because they're going to have some kind of pattern is going to manifest with that person. You just got to be
Yeah,
smart
but a
enough to
lot of people,
watch that pattern.
I've been in a few relationships where a lot of people were conniving enough to hide who they really are.
Mhm.
But for how long though? That's the thing.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't last long. But the problem comes in when you've hidden who you really were. I fell in love with a mask.
Mm.
Mm.
Yep.
Now
That's
you took the
that's
mask
what
away.
happens.
I'm still looking at, well, you could still be this person. You just need some help. You could still be that person. You're just
Mm-hmm.
lacking in
Oh,
this area.
of
Well,
course.
that's where
Yep.
the dog whisperer comes in again. It's like
Right,
trying to heal this
right,
person or change this person or put a new
right.
leash on them, or get a new haircut with the bow bandana around the neck. That doesn't always work.
You
I mean,
gotta have low
Right.
self-esteem. You gotta have like low self-esteem to even think that, even want to do something like that. Like
yeah.
your self-esteem
Not
has to be
necessarily. Not necessarily, because I don't think it's a self esteem issue. I think, like I said, like
that's
I was saying,
self-esteem.
they can present something to you like, I'm this strong man. I'm coming in to do this, but I, as I walk into your life, you don't know I didn't lose my job. I never had a job, but I tell you, man, I just lost my job, man. Things is falling apart on me. I was doing this, I was doing that. How would you know unless you did the research?
Well,
And
see,
Yeah,
another thing
but
that
you
we
don't
didn't bring
let
up
them,
about
yeah,
the
just don't
homosexual
let
is
them open
this.
your house.
But there's another thing that we didn't bring up about. But check this out.
That's the first sign to
When I
not let
said
them open your house.
right, when I talked about patterns, it's another thing that we missing. There's a huge component to all of this. The person's pattern is homelessness. This is
right.
that
Right,
person's
That's
pattern.
right,
yes,
Missing
right,
one of the
yes.
big elements to this is the fact that they are literally a hobo. They go
Mm,
from pillar to post. So
right.
Mm-hmm.
if you like you said, do your research. If you investigate into the person, you will find a driver's license from another state.
Mm.
You'll find all kind of stuff that does not tie them to now, the
To
right
now.
here and the right
right,
now.
Yep.
right,
You
right.
never can go to their house. They're always at your
Mm.
spot.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're always out in public somewhere. It's always something that disconnects them from having their own space.
And you're always
But
feeding them. When
I
it's
was
time to
gonna
go out to
say,
eat, you have to supply all the things that they need.
Exactly.
It's a
yep, yep.
hobo. That's what
But
the homosexual is.
Right.
It's a
I was
guy
also gonna say, not all homosexuals are like homeless. They have a place to stay. They might live with their brother or their aunt or their mom
Oh,
or
And
and
whatever.
right,
that's not their
But
home.
that's the
right,
key.
That's
That's
still
the
not
key.
their home.
It's still not their spot. That's the
Right.
key. It's
I
not
mean, when they're
their
not
spot.
homeless, you know what I'm saying? That's still, but they live with their
Yeah.
family or a friend or whatever. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
they
But that's
homeless.
But
that's
let me tell you how to let me tell you how the educational system looks at that. I'm gonna tell you as an educator how the educational system looks at that. If it's not your residence, we consider you homeless.
That's right.
Even if you
right,
live with your mama, your aunt, your uncle, your cousin, when we pull up your information, we say, well, hey, who is the person? When you bring a bill in to the school district and the
Hmm.
bill doesn't have your name on it, we say you're homeless, period.
Mm.
What
If
about
that bill doesn't have your name on it, which signifies that you're the person responsible for what's the responsibilities of that said household, the lease, the bills, all that stuff. Because when you sign up, you have to bring a lease, you have to bring a mortgage payment, you have to bring a light bill, a phone bill, something tying you to that facility. And
mm-hmm.
secondly, the person that actually pays all that stuff, they got to come with you. So you are considered as homeless, literally. Even if you are with your mama, your cousin, your auntie, whatever, if your name is not on the responsibility of that said household, you are constituted as homeless. Period. It's no way around it. Because here's the picture. This is why I don't understand how anybody can get tied to somebody like this. Is the main reason. Then we're gonna let Bruce hit us up because he over there, his wheels spinning. I see him. One of the main reasons that I was saying why I could not understand how we could get tied to somebody like this because they have no attachments. How can we not see that? That
Right.
doesn't make sense to me. If they have no attachments, I don't understand how we get tied to them. Bruce,
But if
can you break that down
you
for us?
have, yeah.
Go ahead and break that down for us, Bruce. Go ahead, Bruce. Go ahead, talk to me.
My thoughts was actually going in a different direction until Robin used the analogy of a dog whisperer.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Where'd you go?
Press mute. Somebody muted.
He did. We can't hear you.
We can't hear you, Bruce.
Am I back?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
can.
got-
Come on through
yeah.
now. Come on
Start
through
all
now,
over
Bruce. Now,
again.
Okay.
don't fail us now, Bruce. We need
Start
you.
all over. We didn't hear you.
Okay. To recap real quickly, because my new friend Robin used the term dog whisperer, referring to black
Yes.
to men. Excuse me.
Right.
Then do I have permission to speak freely?
Go
Yes,
ahead.
go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
Bruce.
Go
Come on,
ahead.
Bruce.
Okay.
Charles, can you give Bruce permission, please, Charles?
Go ahead,
Handle
Bruce.
it,
Go on, Bruce.
Robin, I want to baptize you into the hot seat.
All right, now baptism on tonight.
When men, the hobosexuals, as they're being referred to, they do have an attachment.
Yes, they
That
do.
attachment allows them to bake cookies.
Correct. Tell them, Bruce.
They have a cookie baking attachment.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep it 100 in here tonight.
Now you're talking. Now you're talking.
We're gonna keep it 100.
That's it.
That
Bruce,
attachment
can you
allows
break
them.
down- Bruce, can you break down the
I'm going in.
Cookie Ministries for
Come
us,
on,
please?
Bruce. Take them in, Bruce.
That attachment allows him to bake chocolate chunk cookies.
Oh, Lord.
Well,
All
Yeah.
The
right.
extra
All right.
size, the oversized cookies.
I'm getting
Pause.
hungry.
my Lord.
Now, with that being said, there is a fallacy amongst the mind of the independent woman. The independent woman is not looking at the male or the man as someone to be his helper.
Yeah.
She don't feel as though she's called to be his helper. And even though there is an exchange taking place, a commerce of relations is taking place, but it's not an equal yoke.
The trainer.
Because in that independent woman's mind, here it is, watch this.
Yeah.
In that independent woman's mind, she feels as though I got everything in my life handled except for this and
Right.
that.
Right.
I don't need to, yes, many women do try to fix some brothers, but it's a lot of these independent sisters out here that feel as though they got everything locked down. I pay my own bills. I got my own car, my own house, and all I need is a little bit of cookies.
That's it.
Or
That's
some
it.
companionship. Or
They
somebody
get
to
what they
watch
want.
Netflix with me. And because
Yeah,
I'm the woman, because I'm Shaka Khan,
Yeah.
I will pay for that.
Right.
So, but that's kind of stretching.
I will pay for the cookies.
For me, I get what you're saying, and I love it. I think, but for a hobo sexual, all right, not a man that's down on his luck or that needs a little inspiration. That's somebody that I can work with, or we can build together. We're talking about somebody that has no goals, no desire, slothful, just wants to, be a phallus for you when you come home. I'm gonna beat it up and
what
take
I'm
care of it.
injecting into the, and you're absolutely right. And what I'm injecting into the conversation is that the curse of the independent woman's thinking the perverseness of the independent woman's thinking is that all she needs is that phallus.
That's it.
Yep.
Because she handling everything else. She got her own rent, mortgage, car payment, car insurance. All she needs is a phallus and somebody to watch Netflix with.
Yep.
So she'll buy him a pair. She'll buy him some Jordans and a T-shirt to come over Koffe house when Koffe's having game night. She'll buy him something because she needs a companion. She don't want a man to submit to grow with, to serve. She don't want an equal yoke.
No.
She wants somebody to fill a slot.
Yep.
So what I hear you saying is basically, and I think Charles kind of said the same thing, that
Absolutely.
these people are intentionally looking for these type of people.
Sometimes.
Is that what y'all were saying?
Sometimes.
I'm saying that she is thirsty. I'm saying that she's thirsty.
That's
What?
Yeah.
Charles, what say you, Charles?
It's desperate.
Bruce is
desperate.
He's
A lot of independent women are desperate because they're very desperate.
Yeah.
They're lonely.
You know why they're desperate?
They deal with, you see that they're desperate.
Yeah.
Like you have to be.
But see, here's the other part of the
You can't be like.
The other part of the desperate part is the frustration. They're frustrated more so than desperate because they have been able to conquer everything else in their life except him. And so this is the story of all women. Women can soar to heights higher than ever. However, you can see some of the most brilliant women that just cannot fare under a man. They can't deal. They just can't deal. They get mad. They're like, you know what? I'm just done. And then they go to the next man and try to do the same thing, forgetting that he's still a man. And so it's like a cycle. You go from one problem to the next, because in your mind, you're like, I can conquer you. And when I was listening to Robin speak earlier, I heard the parts that Bruce said about the dog part, but the part I was looking at it as is in our minds sometimes we think as one sex that we can bring in a sex and teach that sex how to be. How can I teach Koffe how to be a woman? How can I grow her up? She's a woman. I'm a man. All I can do at best is compliment her. I can't teach her to be anything. I can give her.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you so much for understanding that, Charles. Thank you so much.
I can say things and add advice and be like, I think that's not cool or safe, but whatever. But I'm not going to interject something to be like, I really think you need to put your bra on like this and act like a woman. I'm not going to tell her all those things. She's a woman. She should know. Right. So It amazes me sometimes how. So think about this. If women are women and you bring in the strays, men, whatever. So what you're saying is, I'm going to take the place of the male father or the father figure, and I'm going to instill estrogen into you. This is why we have the men that are men soft. That's what we have today. Men soft because we have ingested too much estrogen from the midwife. That's what the problem is. So yeah.
Wow, Jason. I agree. Talk to us, Jason.
Well, I'm kind of flabbergasted because Charles.
I am too when he said that estrogen ministry.
Right, but
I was like, whoa.
There's a lot of estrogen going around.
Right. But that's the reality. That's the reality of what we're dealing with in this day and age. But with this homosexual stuff, it's just like I said earlier. It's a game. It's a game for them.
Yeah.
That's it. For most homosexuals, it's a game.
Hey.
And you get pulled. They figure out. You got like someone said earlier. I can't remember who said it. It might have been Charles. They've already studied what they need to know.
Correct. Yeah,
They know their game.
Correct.
And now what they're trying to do is study you to know how to run their game on you to win whatever it is they're trying to win. So a lot of times, like I said, it's not even about self-esteem. It's about just being aware. The problem is most of the time, people that get stuck with a homosexual is just not aware of all of their surroundings because they're stuck on something. Either that, like Charles, I believe Charles said this earlier. Either it was because of their frustration, It's because of something's lacking. So what the homosexual did was say, okay, let's have a conversation. Let me hear, because like I know for me, when I was dating out there and I would talk to a woman, and I'm assuming it's the same thing for women. Once you start to get to know somebody, you can hear about every bad relationship they've ever been with.
Correct.
So if you're paying attention, you know exactly who not to be.
And
So if you
And
game,
you know what? But you know what?
and this
So,
is your
here's-
game,
but you know
this is
what,
your
Jason? When
game.
you said something about, we got a little bit of noise in the background, you guys. I don't know where it's coming from though, but kind of check your surroundings. If you got some background noises, you can eliminate, because it's actually coming through the actual chat thing.
Yeah.
But Jason, you said something that Jason, Bruce, and Charles. This question is for the fellas, real quick. How can self-esteem not play a part in this equation? Because something would have to be going on internally for you to be succumb to this. How could self-esteem not play a role in this? I don't understand how it doesn't play a role in it.
Because ego trumps that.
Yeah, yes. That's it.
Say that again.
I'm sorry, who was going?
No, I said
It was
Bruce.
Charles.
I said correct.
Okay.
I was saying correct.
Because ego trumps that.
Yeah.
The ego trumps the self-esteem. See, because in the exchange, in the commerce or the value in the relationship, our exchange back and forth, that social contract is agreed upon already. Girl, you done gave me that thing already. I'm staying at your house already. It's a social contract that may not have been verbally spoken, but we already know what's going on here. When I met you and I took you when I walked you to the park, because I couldn't afford to take you to dinner, and I sat down like Brother Jason said, we sit and I listened to you tell me about what Tony did,
Right,
what David did, and I said, okay, all I got to do is not do that. In addition, it may be a self-confidence thing, not maybe esteem, but a self-confidence thing on the woman's end, because she knows that if she sits down with Jason, if she dates Charles Dixon, if she goes out with me, all that independent stuff gonna be challenged. Because you are dealing with a man who is self-sufficient, who can spar with you intellectually.
Right.
Who can pay the bill just like you can pay the bill, sister.
Right.
Therefore, you're gonna have to erect your spine to deal with men like us.
Therefore,
that's it too. That's it too.
In order to deal, and I'm talking a little hard, excuse me, but I'm still.
No, go ahead. Speak your mind. Teach, Bruce. Go ahead now.
And I'm only kidding, Robin. This is for entertainment purposes.
It's on both ends of the spectrum.
Dealing with men like us who are men, you got to come to the table. Right. But Jason, you got to come to the table. Right. And I'm not saying with materialness, but you need to come to the table, knowing your Lord, having your credit right. You understand what I'm saying? Having something to bring to the table, like that Proverbs 31 woman. Right. And because you are aware of this, you're going to avoid men like us. You're going to go to a little half a head Ray now.
It's got to be more than a kitty cat.
That does something for your self-confidence. Ray and half a head little boo-boo in them, it does something for your self-esteem. You can handle guys like that.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Charles, you were going to say
men
something.
Like us, you're going to have to step up.
So
Charles was going to say something. Go ahead, Charles.
Here's the thing that what we forget. Well, one thing you said when you asked Bruce the question about the self-esteem come into play.
Right.
It could, right? It very well could at some point. But most of the times, I you say homosexuals, I call them just simply professional users. Professional users, they're deliberate. It's not necessarily self-esteem. They have found it's their trick bag. It's their gimmick. It works for them.
Right. It's their game.
The thing that we forget about is this. Users, they make a living filling prescriptions. They fill your prescriptions of emptiness. They fill all your prescriptions. Vanity.
The person has to be.
And the other. I just want, and let's be honest. Okay, let's just say this. Most people that are users to that degree to be a homosexual in order to make it up into your crib and all that, most of the times they look the part, and you stuck
Right.
at what you see. You stuck at maybe the guy chisel. He this girl. Oh my God, he can pick me up. You know, you so into the visual of him that you don't care about what he has in his bag, the trunk, who house he came from. He's just at your house and he looks nice. Same for women. And look, I remember some time ago when I ran across a person that I knew was a homosexual, so to speak. But I like artwork, right? She blended with the place like art. So it didn't matter. Because in my mind at the time, I knew I didn't
Right.
want that woman to be my woman. But at the time, I was like, look, who don't want to come home to that every day to just look at it? Now after a while, you get your
Right.
comments, and you be like, look, this ain't serving me
It ain't
no
that
purpose
beautiful.
beyond this. This is really foolishness. It's not
Right.
good deal.
Right.
It's not helping me with my cause in life. This is just vanity and flesh. So I had to get past that. But we can, if we real, we get fixated to what we see because we feel like that's what I'm talking about. That's what I like right there. And so if the person is cooking, saying all the right things, wearing all the stilettos and all these things, you like, oh, I'm in heaven. But in reality, you're really just showing at the time where you are, and you're not in a good place because you were
Exactly.
choosing wiser
That's
before.
it. That's it. You gotta
But
just
you know,
know
but you know what?
something.
You said something very interesting with that, and then I'm gonna let Robin say something real quick because Robin wanted to interject.
Okay.
You said something,
Uh-oh.
Charles.
Okay.
You basically said, I was the junkie and the pusher.
Right. Right.
Is what you basically said. It's
Right.
it's a double-edged sword to be the person initiating and the person
Correct.
receiving.
Correct.
So it's something wrong with the
Right.
person receiving
Even
and
and
something
something
wrong
wrong
with
with
the
the
person
person getting.
initiating. Yeah.
Correct. Right.
So in essence, you never get high on your own supply. You're not supposed to
No.
ever get high on your drugs. But I
Right.
like how you were very transparent in that you were saying, this is the artwork, so it looks the part, but there's no value whatsoever. But unlike artwork, there is value attached to artwork.
Correct. Correct.
If you were to take that artwork off your wall to resell
Yeah.
it, you would
Right.
get something
Absolutely.
for it. Now
Absolutely.
with that particular type of person, you won't get anything in exchange. All you're
Absolutely.
going to do is it's going to be like a car. It's going to constantly depreciate. That
Yeah.
person is constantly depreciating. So if you try to take that same vehicle to the lot, even though it still looks the part, it won't be of the value that it was that you initially made that purchase in.
But like we all say and do, we
Oh
gonna
my,
ride
my.
it till the wheels fall off. Anyway, no, I got
Right.
Anyway, Robin, unmute yourself, Robin. Robin, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, Robin.
Oh, I think she hung up. Oh, there she go.
No, she's there.
I'm muted.
Unmute
Robin,
yourself.
unmute yourself.
Got that.
So,
There you go. Talk
There
to
you
us,
Okay.
Robin. Talk to us, Robin.
You know what? So I'm agreeing with all the men because that's some good talk right there.
Right?
And yeah, they got it together. But one thing I wanted to say, I think that women, and see, we got on the men a little bit with the little stiletto thing and the yummy and stuff. Okay. Still with women, I think we look for what we want for ourselves. If that woman wants to be cared for, loved in that way, uh, you know, um, kind of elevated like she would this homosexual man,
mm-hmm.
sometimes that is a reason that a woman will take in a man that has no,
Nothing at
substance.
all.
There's nothing going on because she's looking for the same thing. And then also, there's no requirement to progress to grow beyond that because if she's allowing him to be in the home, then she's not going to necessarily sometimes require him to do more than that. Like, so if she has low self-esteem, then this man can come in and be that man that she needs, not to push her, not to ask her to be more than what she is. Sometimes it's a comfort
Yep.
level, right?
That's good.
Right.
Yep.
So we looking for somebody to give us something that we don't have, that we desire to have, and it's easier to stay in this little place where we're comfortable and familiar with, and not reach any more further than that. And if you have somebody that doesn't work, that doesn't provide, that's not, don't have any goals or dreams, then you safe. You're like, I don't have to do no more than this, because he ain't gonna do no more than that. So we all right. We right here. We all right. I think a man's happiness, success, weaknesses, it's not our responsibility. We take on that role, like Charles said, then we're asking for, what we're gonna get, and that's nothing.
And that's the ride till the wheels fall off, as
That's
Charles so eloquently stated it. As he so eloquently stated it with the used car ministry so tonight. But you know what? That's good that you said that, Robin, because that kind of brings some clarity to the thought of why a person would even want somebody like that. Because if they
Right.
have no aspirations, no goals, no dreams, no forward thinking, then it is easy and very comfortable for them to exist in a world with somebody who lacks that same level of forward movement or forward thinking. Rather.
But because you know what a deception is here about how women see men. Somebody, can y'all hear the feedback? I hear like feedback. Do you hear that?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
feedback.
I hear you twice.
I don't hear it.
Oh, okay. Somebody's thing might be the volume may be high somewhere.
If you're logged into social media, turn
Yeah, you gotta
your
turn it
phone
down.
off, your volume off on your phone if you're logged into another device, because it's it's probably feedbacking.
Yeah.
So but here's the misconception. Women are under the impression that men laying on their back, I say laying on their back, that's the homosexual, either laying on his back or in manipulation mode, need their help. Here's the thing. Men are innately created to thrive and survive. That's who we are as men. So don't fool yourselves into thinking we need you to help us get up. We know how to get up.
That's right.
The man who really needs the help is the
Right.
man striving. The Bruces and my man Jason, that's who need the help. You know why? Because the higher they climb, the more detrimental their fall is. You know, so that's the guy who needs the support. But it amazes me how some of the women are more eager to help the guy crawling on his knees to make them feel better rather than to help the man that's flying like Superman. He needs the help the most because he has the more threatening fall. The other guy already on his knees. All he gonna do is turn over on his side. Ain't nothing gonna happen to him. The man that's thriving is the one who needs the help. But we meet these people. We'll come into somebody's life. I had somebody tell me once, you seem like everything is to put together and need, and you don't need nothing. I said, so do I need to be living out of my car for you to like me? What is it? You can't like me handling my own stuff. Why do I gotta be halfway living between house to house for you to be attracted to me? You understand what I'm saying? So that's the mentality of how we are today. We feel like if a guy has something is wrong with him, or he's a player and all this. But think about it. Everybody who is, if you becoming mate worthy, first you have to be a player in the game to be mate worthy first. You got to be able to come to the table to be able to play. Put your fishing rod into the water. On the sidelines can't contribute nothing. So you got to get yourself to an independent status that may resemble a player, whether a female or male.
Hey, Nicole, I think your line has
Nicole.
feedback in it, Nicole.
Nicole.
It's your line. It's your line with the feedback in it, Nicole.
Oh, I had my phone down.
Mute your line real quick. Mute your line real quick, because I think it's your line that has the feedback behind you for some reason.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
I think
that's on
she's
the
on her
closer.
phone on the podcast, so that's
Yeah,
giving that feedback too.
right.
Yeah, something. Yeah, but okay, Charles, you know, what you said is true, and of course, it's not. Just to qualify what you're saying, all of us don't look to deal with
Hold on, Nicole needs to stay on mute.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta
No, mute
mute
your
it. You know, went somewhere eating potato chips.
It's something that you said, Charles, that kind of made me think, and it was when you were talking about the man that's flying high and how low he will get if he does have a fall. When I was thinking about what you were saying, the man that's flying high, that if he should fall, the converse of that is that when he's Clark Kent
Yeah.
and he's not Superman with that cape on,
Right.
how that woman responds to him when he's in his most vulnerable state,
Right.
as opposed to
Right.
when she's seeing him save the entire world. How
Right.
she responds to him in that space, that will tell him who he's really dealing with. If she's really
Right.
willing to stand by him when he's being human and not being
Right.
superhuman.
Yeah.
It's like the cross concept, when just, and not to get real spiritual, but when Christ went to the cross, the women that stood at the feet of that cross were the ones that were the strongest ones of all. That were
Yeah.
the ones that were holding him up in his most vulnerable state, when he could no longer be super anymore. And the ones that appeared at that tomb first, that stayed there the whole time, those were the strength of what carried him, as far as him being the greatest human that has ever lived. You know what I'm saying? So when you talk about the greatness of a man, it made me think about the Clark Kent that exists in that man. He cannot wear that cape all the time, and he can't be a superhero all the time. So sometimes the danger in the Superman is not seeing Clark Kent.
Right.
Yeah.
Preach, girl.
So a woman is looking at this man as this superhero, but when he proves to be human, she feels like he's failed, or he's not meeting the standard, or whatever, because she's not seeing him vulnerable in his state of humanity. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
even if a man has it all together and he's missing a woman, he's still missing a very strategic component to his equation, which is his
Absolutely.
woman.
Most definitely.
You
You
know
know what I
what
say to that?
Yes,
Superman
yes.
did not stay in costume 24 hours a day. At some
Right.
point, he changed.
Now
You
some
know
do,
what that
some
means?
do, some
But
do.
listen, that means the woman just has to watch. If you watch, he's
Right.
going to transition.
Right.
You just so busy
Yeah.
doing what you want to do and going over here and expecting him to come back and have his cape off. Sometimes he may be strategic when he removes it, but if you look and you listen, he will take it off. Trust me.
And
Yeah.
see, and I need to let me piggyback on that.
Go
Oh,
ahead,
I want
Bruce.
to.
Go ahead, Bruce.
I'm sorry. That's exactly what I am saying. What Charles just said is a mouthful.
Mhm.
He does take his cape off. However, in today's climate, not to
Right.
sound like I'm attacking, but in today's climate,
I get
the
you.
woman that independent woman has
Right.
become so self-absorbed in her world
Right. You miss it.
with the
Yep.
ideology that he
Yep.
has to do something for me. He
Right.
has to please me. He has to not me compliment him, but
Yeah.
he has to supplement me.
Ooh.
Yep.
And every
Wow.
time she has the mindset that he
Yeah.
has to supplement me, he
Right.
has to be the vitamin that I didn't take today.
Right.
She misses
Oh,
when he
wow.
takes that off. She
Come
will
on
miss
now
when he
with the
takes that
vitamins.
cape.
Go ahead now.
And let me add something to that.
Listen, she'll miss when he takes that cape off, and then she will become so frustrated, thinking that she cannot identify with the man, that she'll go ahead and hook up with the hobo.
And so
Wow.
she's
Wow.
so independent that she didn't even see his desire for her to be vulnerable with him. She missed the whole
Correct.
thing.
Correct.
Like he took the cape off, she didn't even know he had it on. Yeah, she didn't even know
Yeah,
he had the
that's
cape on.
it. That's it, Bruce.
So then she gets
Or-
frustrated.
Or she has her own picture of what his disrobing looks like. You're not giving him a
Yes.
chance to
Yep.
Now
disrobe.
that's
You're telling
now
him
that's
how he's
real.
supposed to disrobe.
Now that's
Can I add something to that
Yeah.
also?
hold on one second, Nicole. Absolutely. That goes back to what you said earlier, Charles, when you talked about the person not liking you how you were.
Correct.
You were talking about the female that doesn't like you how you are. Go ahead, Nicole.
Right.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and also when the man actually does get vulnerable, because he's gonna get vulnerable,
Right.
her independent nature is gonna see him as weak, and she's
Correct.
gonna call him weak, and she's gonna,
Correct.
down to him. You a
Mhm.
man, man up, and all of that,
Right.
other
Right.
stuff, emasculating him pretty much. That's what she's
Mhm.
gonna do. So
Right.
he's not gonna be able to be vulnerable
Yeah.
where he can be lifted in that situation. He's not, because
Correct.
her mouth is not going to allow it.
Correct.
And the
Wow.
homosexual.
Let me ask you guys one thing about this when you talk about the independence, because this is one thing that somebody just inboxed me. They wanted Bruce and Charles. When you guys talked about the independent woman,
Lord.
I don't know why this person they put on chat. When you guys talked about the independent woman, are you suggesting that we should not be independent, or to what extent is independence not valuable in a relationship? That's a good question.
You
I
want
could
to go?
Can I say something about
Charles
that?
and Bruce.
Go ahead,
Charles and
Jason.
Bruce.
Go ahead.
First of all, if you're in a relationship, how are you independent?
Wow.
Mm.
Wow.
Oh my, oh my,
Good
oh
stuff.
my.
Good stuff.
Teach.
If this is supposed to be a relationship, and I'm talking about us grown folks, I'm not talking about some little
Yeah, teenagers.
puppy love
Right.
in
Right.
high school or even in your 20s. You in
Right.
your 40s and you talking about we in a relationship, but you independent. How you independent? When did you become independent? If we together, we should
Wow.
be
Oh boy, my.
interdependent.
Wow. Good stuff.
Interdependent.
There you
That's
go.
right.
Good stuff.
I need you, you need me. That's it. That's
Exactly.
plain and simple. If you feel like you have to be independent in a relationship, that's your first problem.
That is a
Wow.
big problem.
Wow.
My
We-
Lord, on tonight.
Yeah.
We,
Well,
and
Good
the
stuff.
piggyback on what he's saying, another problem with that is we're coming into the situation now wanting the opposite person to respect our real estate that we're dragging with us. It's like we're saying, you're gonna understand me. I got my own company. I did this, and you're not leaving room for the interdependency, like he's saying. You're saying
Right.
I'm coming like this, and you're gonna respect me and all that I built and I have right now. Instead of saying we're gonna be a team and conquer this whole
Right.
thing together. We come
Yep.
in
Right.
and it's almost
So-
like you walk into two people and they got a big sack on their back with both of their real estate and fussing for dominance. That's
So
the
let's
problem.
argue. So argue with me on this, because it sounds like we're defending now the homosexual. You're saying
No.
the women gotta realize this, and they can't emasculate this man, and they need to uplift him, and he's
But
in there.
here-
She
but
wants
here-
him in there. Are we defending the homosexual?
No, we're not defending him.
No.
Okay.
But listen, somebody opened the door for him when he
Well,
knocked.
we got that. We know that part.
So, I mean,
So how do we get him out then? So how do we
We
get?
don't.
How do we
You
get him
know how
out?
we get him out? We get him out. We get him out by stop looking for projects and help existing real estate already being
Come on
built.
now.
That's
There
how
you
we
go.
help.
Come on.
We keep
Right.
looking for fixer uppers. Stop
Right.
looking.
Oh,
Look,
yeah.
that stuff works great in Bruce's line of work, right? Because there is a designated return coming on it. But when you
Right.
deal
Right.
with people,
Right.
you deal with hearts and years of baggage, and there is no guarantee what
baggage,
somebody's going to give you back.
pain.
You fix a
Okay,
man up if you want to, or a woman, and see if they're going to leave you quickly.
So there's
That's
some
what
women.
happens.
There's some women that their level of consciousness. What if
Yes.
What if that's not present? So think about the empty nester that doesn't have their children anymore. The widowed woman that has been married
That's right.
20, 30 years.
Right.
And
It's
then
You don't have to be old now.
you don't have to be old. No,
Yeah.
because I was
Okay.
married 15 years, and I'm
Right.
not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. So what about that? I mean, it's not always a negative thing when a woman takes in a man like that. There
It's
are
levels.
certain situations. I'm not saying they're right, but
Yeah.
what about those types of situations where the level of consciousness for her, she may not even recognize it, or she does, and that's something that she needs. How do we say to that woman, you don't take him
We
in?
say the same thing to that woman.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. and
We say
and
the same thing.
Yes. Go ahead, Bruce. And
Even though, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Bruce. Go ahead.
Even though she has a different set of circumstances that
Right.
is currently taking place in her life, she is still operating from that same intent of independence and thirst. She has a need. Keep in mind, whatever it is that we attach ourselves to, right?
Right.
We are always drawn away from our own lust and enticed.
Right.
I'm not drawn away from another person's lust. I am drawn into a situationship based on my own lust,
Right.
my own need, my own quote unquote desire. And I'm enticed into that relationship. So at the end of the day, all roads leads back to me.
Yeah.
Right.
We're not necessarily defending the homosexual.
Yeah.
We want to expose the mentality.
We're challenging it.
Challenging
it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
The independent woman that creates a codependent relationship.
Right.
Because homosexuals are enabled. They're born because somebody's planting seeds so that they could. Someone has laid out breadcrumbs, and that's what happens. And so, at the end of the day, listening to what Robin said, the other side of it that always baffles me is, why is it our first, like you said, widow, divorcees, what have you, single and seeking? Why do we always seem to reach out to date down first? Why can't we ever just look for somebody on our level? What's so challenging about? It's like we don't want to be stretched anymore. We want it to be easy. We don't want anybody to kind of come in and say, "Hey, what can you add to me?" All we're going to say is, "Look, I'm too old. I ain't got time for them kind. I just need a man or woman to do this." And we date down, and then we get mad when we get down residuals. You know what I'm saying?
That's the rescuer personality. That's the rescuer personality where a person feels like, I gotta save something.
Right.
So it's a syndrome. It's a syndrome that people go through at certain stages in their life if they don't have, like what Robin said. It's the rescuer. It's like when she was talking about rescuing the cats and rescuing the dogs and always feeling like, oh, I gotta save somebody. It's that kind of person who has not produced anything outside of the scope of what they've been given. Like with the kids, it's a bad syndrome for empty nesters. You know why? Because what they usually resort to is going to find somebody to have another baby with.
Yeah.
But guess what though?
Yeah. When mentality, it's unfortunate, but if they don't build a life out, I'll give you a perfect example. You remember that episode of Good Times when Florida, everybody got grown, right?
Yeah.
And then Florida, all of a sudden, she got up one day and she said, oh, I don't need to clean the house no more. I don't need to take care of the kids no more. James got everything he needs. Now I'm stuck with nothing. Right. It's that type of syndrome where the person hasn't had their own identity and created their own self. So they're lacking their self. You understand what I'm saying?
But you know why? Because that's exactly what I was going to say. When you find a person that is a professional fixer-upper, that is a person that has neglected themselves for life.
Absolutely.
And so as a result, they need to help themselves. Stop trying to fix somebody else up and fix you.
They don't know that though. They don't know that they need help.
They have no self.
They have no idea that they need help. They have
you know what? I think everybody, all of us know that we failed. All of us know where we fail, right? The thing is this: helping someone is our trade-off offering to neglect ourselves. We know what's something wrong with us, but we feel like if I can help Bruce or I can help Robin, then I've done my service. Even though I'm messed up, I done really had a terrible life. So we kind of make up all kinds of excuses to help someone else when really we need someone. We need to be invested in our own self.
That's it.
Right. And you have to know that, because if you've yielded your life for the service of others and you've never taken care of you, that's a danger and a detriment to yourself. At some point, you're not going to see the handwriting on the wall until that person no longer needs you. You won't even see yourself until that person is gone. And some people, in acts of desperation, they have to find somebody really quickly because psychologically they cannot handle not taking care of somebody. They just can't.
It's desperate.
They can't handle it.
That's
crazy. Mr. Dixon, this has been a fabulous a fabulous time of praise and worship here on the hot seat. But we got to close the church down. I'm in the spirit of hunger, and
Speak,
can
sister,
you
speak,
bring
speak.
the train into the station and go ahead and let the conductors off, please, if you don't mind.
All right, Mr. We're gonna start with Mr. Jason, and we're gonna come across. Just kind of give the folks your part in commercial, sir, and we can go on from there.
My
To
parting
help the folks.
commercial?
Your parting
Uh,
encouragement commercial. But let me fix that.
The parting gifts,
Yeah,
Jason.
I think the best thing I can say about defending yourself from the hobosexual is just to be aware.
Mm,
Be mentally aware of what you see and hear, because a lot of it, like I said earlier, is a bunch of game. And unless you're
yes,
truly paying attention, they will feed you whatever it is you want,
yeah.
and you will still be hungry.
Wow, wow. Sugar.
Yeah, I would definitely say the same thing. Although it's levels to this homosexual thing, um, because it's different reasons of why women or men date a homosexual. And all of them pretty much were mentioned now. I would just say to the ladies, honey, stop dating potential and date production.
Mm, good
Look
stuff.
for what they are producing. What have they produced? Look at their track record. What
Right,
have they been producing? How
right.
can you follow or lead? How can a man lead you when he can't even lead his own life?
Mm,
So you have to look for production. Don't think,
mm,
oh, he can be. No, he needs to be in the progress of doing
yeah,
whatever he say he is doing. If he's not making any moves, you can't make any moves for him.
good stuff.
He's not going anywhere.
Robin.
So that's that. You won't end up with a homosexual.
Good stuff.
All right now, watch out now, watch out. Well,
I think that for women, we need to ask ourselves what our motive is.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Mm,
That's a good one.
okay.
did she freeze on us? Did she
Yeah,
freeze?
she
I
free.
think
Something
she
happened.
Yeah,
froze.
she froze.
She
Lord,
froze.
no.
No, not now.
At the
Oh, she gone.
She
Right
benediction.
in the
give
middle.
her
At the
2 seconds. She gonna come
benediction.
back on. She gonna come back on one, so she'll be back on
Goodness.
in a second. She gonna probably click off and come back on probably.
At the benediction.
Uh,
Oh, man, the congregation was waiting, Charles.
Right.
we give her a second, then we go to Bruce if she don't come in. I think she gonna come in back in a second.
You want Bruce to go in the meantime?
Yeah, go ahead, Bruce.
I would close out by saying that in our situationships and our relationships, all roads lead back to self.
Yeah.
Yep.
We have to examine self. A lot of what we are thinking is independence is codependence. In today's climate, with social media, Trump's America, and when I call a matrix, Charles know what I mean. I won't go too
Yeah.
deep into that.
Right.
This climate is producing narcissism,
Wow.
and a lot of people are looking for what is called narcissistic supply.
Yep.
Mm.
Right.
Narcissistic supply is come and fill me up.
Correct.
Come give me what I need. It doesn't matter what you need. You come and give me what I need. You
Right.
supplement me.
Right.
And that is what we have to challenge that and bring some healing to that,
Good stuff.
to change that dynamic around.
Good stuff.
There's a thing that is called, another psychological term called moral licensing. That's what I'm meditating on this, Charles, moral licensing.
Right.
And what that is I do something right.
Yeah.
Or I do something good for you, and that gives me a license to do 3 or 4 things wrong to you.
Wow.
Wow.
As we search for that narcissistic supply in our relationships, we do it with a moral license.
Right. Wow.
And
I'm
that
sorry.
is what is causing us to empower the homosexual.
Wow.
Yep.
I
agree.
lost
It's
I lost
Robin.
my I lost my connection some kind of way. It kind of got
Yeah, girl, you had the congregation over here looking for the benediction and you was gone. What kind of
Hey,
stuff?
hey, Robert. I think it was that hobo said, "Cut that computer off." No, I'm
You like, I'm on the couch trying to watch TV. I'm trying to watch TV.
Hey, listen, Bruce already got me shaking because I was married to a narcissist, so I'm
Oh,
need therapy after this, okay?
Whoa, okay. Wow.
I'll call somebody for you. I'll call some of my people, Robbie.
Therapy. Y'all can't stop this 911.
Oh, Lord.
What I just wanted to say for us women is that we need to check our motives.
Mm-hmm.
Why would we allow a man that has no potential, not even trying? We know from the jump, like from the onslaught, when we meet this man, that he is not going to supply anything for us. You know, he's not going to give us anything that we necessarily need. So is that because we're not wanting to have anybody to push us to advance ourselves? Is that because we are insecure? We don't want to be alone? Is it because, you know, with this season, is it because there are not a lot of men to choose from? You know, we didn't even tackle that about, you know, what's out there. Who can we, you know, get with? Who's next on the list to marry or to have a relationship with? You know, is this all that we have to try to find a man and to build a bear? You know, because we don't have. So, or taking pieces of different people and putting it together and building this Frankenstein, because that's all there is.
Right.
So what is our motives for accepting this type of relationship?
Wow.
And you know, how do we correct that?
What's up? P. Coffee.
You know, Dr. Dixon, this right here was this was just oof. My head is spinning on tonight. This one, I'm like, you know, I'm normally very solid, but I'm shaking in my theology on tonight after Dr. Bruce has showed up with the narcissism ministries and the labels and stuff like that. I'm just, this has been too much for me. It's just too much. But on a serious note, to piggyback off of what Nicole said earlier, if you can't find the record, then you should not be giving out rewards.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's a good one.
That was my thought on tonight, because, you know, and another thing too that I was thinking about while we were having this discussion is women talk too much. Sometimes
Yes, that is it.
when we come to the table, we come to the table with guns blazing. Well, I want this, I want that. I'm looking for this kind of man, that kind of man, da 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 da. And so we find ourselves accessible to abuse because we've opened up our mouth and said the things that we should have kept hidden in our heart for the right time. So it was premature. It's like prematurely ejaculating doesn't stop. You still gonna get pregnant.
Wow.
You still gonna get pregnant.
Wow.
Even though you haven't got the full extent of the experience, you stuck pregnant without the full extent of the experience. Now you mad because you got caught out there and pregnant off nothing.
Wow.
How do you get pregnant off nothing?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You got
that's a show. That's a show right there.
Right. That's a whole nother show.
I'm being straight up though. What I'm saying is, had the person not prematurely, same concept, open their mouth, and they wouldn't have got pregnant. You can't get pregnant if you don't open up the portal to have access.
Okay.
That's right. You're right, though.
Protected or not is irrelevant, because, you know, if the condom broke, you still stuck. Nonetheless, if you just kept your reward to yourself, including your mouth, then you don't have to worry about being entrapped by nobody, including a homosexual or any kind of manipulator or all that stuff, because you didn't give them any fuel to create a fire with.
All right.
Right.
Don't get me started, y'all. Don't make me. Don't make me.
Well, and I'll just end on this note. Since Pre-Coffee, you opened up the scripture door. So this is what I'll say.
Oh boy.
Come on, bro.
To the pure, all things are pure.
Come on, bro.
So I say that to say, ask God to expose the hobo in you, because the hobo is attracted to the hobo.
Right. Trust me, we have our Our
The time
energy
of
is
death.
attached to us like a magnet.
What's the time of death?
Time of death is 9:16 p.m. I'm calling it. Time of death 9:16 p.m.
That's to expose the hobo in you.
In you, yeah. That's the real issue.
That's
It's
the
just
real
That is the
with
real
the
issue.
hobos is smaller and enlarged hobos. The person who
Yep.
has the estate is the enlarged hobo. Is the
Yeah.
one that's using you is the smaller one. We both
Yep.
hobos.
Yep.
My
I
Lord, on
agree.
tonight. You know
You
something.
see, they say, you know what they say? They say you wear like your energy is attached to you like a
Right.
magnet, and you
Correct.
attract to who
Yeah.
you attract
What
to
you get. What you
because
get.
of
That's
what
it.
you are. Deep down.
And can I say something real quick
Y'all go ahead and
before we leave?
put your cash apps in the chat. Go ahead, put your cash apps in the chat. People wanna give an offering.
Can I say one thing before we leave?
Go ahead, Bruce.
I want y'all to know that one of the real reasons why we had such powerful revelation tonight, and I'll say this before I disappear, is because when we first came on, I was playing some of that fresh oil. Catch that.
Good stuff.
And
Good stuff.
we all brought the anointments with us. Amen.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Yes.
All right,
All right,
it's
well,
been
thanks,
real,
everybody.
It's been fun,
Thanks,
but it ain't
everybody.
been real fun. It's been
Yeah.
real, it's been fun, but it ain't been real fun. I got to get out of here. Love, peace, and hair grease. We'll see
Yeah.
y'all next week. Same bat time, same bat
Bat
channel.
time.
Y'all be easy, and thanks for joining,
night.
everybody. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
All
your
right,
time.
take care, everybody. Nice to meet you,
Bye.
Robin.
Night.
Take care, Sugar.
All right.
All right.
See y'all next
Bye.
week.
All
All
right.
right. Bye-bye.